I ran out of data on my phone, then I had to clear some space. So I'm going to save this project as an untitled project because I'm only going to use it as a demo, and I'm just going to hit replace. That's now told my computer where to save my audio files, and that's all it's doing. So we can see now that record ready is on, and this is basically all ready to record. So if I press spacebar to press play on here, what we should get is this loop using the sounds from my MIDI brain. So if I press play, we know that's using it because it sounds so different to the original loop. It just sounds completely different. Now, the way that I can prove that that's coming out of my drum brain is if I press these big plus and minus buttons on my drum brain, that's going to change the instrument. So if I press the plus button, I get a different sound. Cool, I like that one. Let's stick with that one. So what I'm going to do next, just like before, is I'm going to make sure I can record that data. And I'm going to record that data just by hitting the record button at the bottom. We'll let it loop round. See that recording? Now, my problem with that particular recording is it's not a very good one. We can see that there's not a lot happening within that wave. If we double click on it, that signal is tiny. If that happens to you, I will probably say to you, what do you need to do to make that signal better? How do I make it louder? And there are two answers. The first is to make sure that the volume is actually turned up on the brain. That's turned up 3/4 of the way. So just to make sure that's really high, I'm just going to turn that up to full. The main answer though is that the gain isn't turned up very highly on our audio interface. And the gain for channel 1 is this one here. It says 1 here, and that's for channel 1. So I'm going to make sure that's turned up because that's only at 1. That's as low as it can be. So I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. In fact, let's push that up to about half, and we'll see if that makes a difference. I'm going to record. Actually, let's pull that to the side for comparison, and I'm going to hit record again, and we'll see if that makes a difference to my signal. So, in fact, there is no comparison. We can clearly see that the recording on the left has a much better signal than the one on the right. Now that is basically our setup. We've demoed everything that we need to. We've demonstrated that MIDI is going into the computer from the keyboard and from the drum pad. We've demonstrated that we can get MIDI back out from the computer into our drum brain. And we've demonstrated that we can get the audio sound of the internal instruments of this drum brain out through that cable there and back into our interface and into the computer, and we recorded that as audio. So essentially we've done the whole setup there. The last few things that are going to happen is that I'm going to ask you to power down in reverse order, and this is incredibly important. That's what my next video is going to be about.